Why is it so difficult to buy a car? Door edge guards, $2.99, door cups, $2.99. Most people would rather go to the dentist. They would rather get hit in the face with a rubber hammer than have to go to a car dealership to buy a new vehicle. Then they're going to try to sell you warranties, gap insurance, all this stuff. Why is this the case? Today we're going to talk about that. I'm a used car dealer. My name is Brandon. These are my cars behind me. This is my car dealership. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Let's go. So you walk up to a brand new car dealership and you look at a truck like this, and this is the truck you've been looking for. You want to buy it, but then you go over here to actually try to find the price of it, and you look, okay, well, it's got a base price of $58,000. But wait, that's not the actual price. See, what we have is we have all this equipment, fees on top, and we have a destination charge. Destination charge of $2,000. What's destination charge? Should I even be paying that? So the actual price is not $58,000. It's $67,495. But really, that's not quite the price yet either. So on top of that, we're going to have all these dealer add-ons that they want to charge you for. So you look here, we got door edge guards, $2.99, door cups, $2.99, the window tints, $500. Nitrogen's $199. What's nitrogen? Do I even need it? I think it's air. Is it a different kind of air? Is it a fancy air? I don't know if I should pay it. It's here. It's saying that I have to pay it. So we got running boards for $8.99, and we've got a spray-in liner for $6.99. So we have an added total of $4,700 on top of what we thought was the price of $67,000. No, that's not actually the price. Here's the price for this truck now, $72,232. But no, that's not actually the price. So when we actually go into the dealership, now we have a dock fee. Dock fee could be anywhere from $75 up to, we've seen like $2,000 for dock fees. And then you're going to go into the F&I office. You're going to have fees there. You're going to have to figure out your interest rates, figure out what kind of packages you want. Then they're going to try to sell you warranties, gap insurance, all this stuff on top of the original price that we saw on the truck. It gets very, very confusing for the consumer. You don't know what you should pay for, what you shouldn't, what you should be negotiating, what really you should even be looking for in a vehicle, and what kind of range. All this stuff makes it very, very difficult to shop for a vehicle. So one thing that you'll notice when I'm walking in front of these cars, and what you'll see in all of my videos, is that the prices are displayed on my cars. And this is actually a very rare thing to see in the car market. Most of the times when you go into a used car dealership, you will not see car prices that are actually posted on their cars. And this is one of my biggest frustrations with the car market, is the lack of transparency. And this makes it very difficult for a consumer, because at most car lots, you can't just ride up onto the lot and know exactly how much you're paying for a vehicle. And it's no different on new car dealerships. If they have used vehicles out there, they're not going to post the prices of their vehicles. Now on new cars, they have to post the MSRPs on them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to pay for the car, because they have the add-ons, all of this other junk that they try to put on the cars. But on the used car side, they do this so that you have to go inside, you have to talk to a salesperson, you have to go in there to ask questions, because what they think is that if they can get you in the door, the salesperson is going to be able to tell you all the right things. They're going to be able to whisper these sweet nothings into your ear to make you want to actually buy the vehicle. And if they don't have the prices on the windshield, you can't just come out here and see, okay, it's X amount. I know if I want to buy it or not, or if it's too much or not. You actually have to go inside to talk to somebody. It's just an added layer of complication for the consumer, and an added layer of non-transparency from the car dealer. And it's very, very frustrating. And when you decide whichever vehicle you're going to purchase, what your price is going to be, you've already talked to the salesperson. Now at that point, it gets even more confusing. What you do is, if you decide that you're going to finance this vehicle, then you'll walk into the finance manager's office, the F&I office, and then you'll be presented with products, things that you can buy, different interest rates, different packages, how you're going to pay for it, and it gets even more confusing from there. Now, I am not not an expert on the finance side of things in the car market. I would rather you buy something that you can afford, something that you can pay cash for. But I know a lot of you out there are going to choose to finance a vehicle. So I brought in an expert to actually give you some tips on how you should approach that.
Number 1, know your credit well and clean it up if you need to. Number 2, do your internet sleuthing where you check out current credit union interest rates and terms available in your state and in your area before you head to the dealership. Keep in mind that while all banks have different guidelines, the older the vehicle, the higher the mileage on the vehicle, the higher the interest rate. And number 3, while the finance manager does not have to give you their buy rate, know and understand certain terms like buy and sell rate, the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval, and manufacturer incentives. And last but not least, if the finance manager hits you with an insane interest rate and says, well, you know, the interest rates are sky high right now, don't shake your head in agreement, because you have already done your homework.
So even at a place like CarMax and Carvana, where they specialize in making it easier for the customer to buy, what ends up happening is you pay extra for that ease. So when you come here to CarMax, you're paying way more for these vehicles than you would at another dealer. And even though it's easier, it's going to become more difficult for the consumer to actually afford the cars that are here. So a doc fee is the most common fee that you're going to pay at a dealership. And what most dealerships will say is that they charge it to one customer, they have to charge it to every customer. And it's pretty common just across the board that every dealer is going to charge a doc fee. So even us here, we have to post what our doc fee is and what we're selling it and what we're charging our customers. But you can see our doc fee is $0. But even though that we're not charging a doc fee for any of our vehicles, we still have to post it. It's through us. We're a car dealership in North Carolina, and we have to post that we have a doc fee of $0. And that's how common it is that even if we're not charging it, we still have to list that it's $0. So this is something that you can know before you go to a dealership. You can call them beforehand and just say, okay, what's your doc fee? And if you call there and you hear that their doc fee is $1,500 versus a place that's right down the road where it's $300, then you know probably the dealership that you want to go to. So for you as a consumer, what can you do to make your car buying experience better? What can you do to get around all this dealer fluff? What can you do to just make this process so much easier for you to buy a vehicle? Well, my first tip that I would give you is that, especially if you're buying a new car, is to call the dealership before you even go to it and find out what the out-the-door price is on the vehicle that you're looking at. Find out what fees that you have to pay through that dealership, what their doc fees are, what things that they're going to make you pay. And you can do this and call a few dealerships and find which ones have these crazy, stupid fees, market adjustments, ridiculous doc fees, if they're charging you for nitrogen or not. You can go ahead and weed out some of these dealers, and really you're probably not going to get the best price over the phone anyway. So I still want you to go to 3-4 dealerships for the select model, the trim level that you're actually looking for, and then compare the prices, because you can do that and you can find out which dealers are trying to gouge you and which dealers are not trying to gouge you. And it's going to take a little legwork, and yeah, you're going to have to go to a few different places, but if you want to save money, you're going to have to do the research. You're going to have to make the calls. You're going to have to go to all these different dealerships to find the best deal. And when you're trying to find this best deal, none of this add-ons, none of these market adjustments, none of these nitrogen fees, none of this matters. The only thing that matters to you as a customer is the out-the-door price. When you're going to negotiate a vehicle, you don't want to negotiate the price of the car off the MSRP. All that stuff, it doesn't matter to you as the consumer. The only thing that matters to you is your bottom line item, what you're paying after all the fees are added. That's what you want to negotiate off of, because you can negotiate off the MSRP of a vehicle. You can get $5,000 off of a vehicle off the MSRP. But if they're going to add on a $2,000 fee for your doc fee, if they're going to add on a $3,000 market adjustment, you're right back to whatever you were going to pay for that MSRP. So you never want to negotiate until you've got that final number. That's the number you're going to negotiate. You as a consumer, that's the only number that matters to you. So now with these used car dealers, they can do something very similar to what these new car dealers do, and they can add these junk fees. They can add these ridiculous dock fees. They can add prep fees. They can add recon fees. They can add a bunch of different add-ons. They can try to sell you gap insurance. They can charge you ridiculous interest rates if you're actually getting your loan through these dealerships. So you need to know everything about the process before you're going to purchase a car, and it comes down to price first. Remember, we're going to negotiate the out-the-door price even at these used car dealerships. And when we get to the actual financing element of it, you need to know exactly what you're signing up for, because a lot of these dealerships, especially if they're a buy here, pay here dealership, you can get signed up for a loan where you're paying 25% interest and not even know it. So you want to make sure that you're shopping the price of the car, and you want to know what your interest rate is. You don't want to shop monthly payments. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see from consumers, is that they go out there and they say, okay, I'm looking for a car and I want to pay $500, $600 a month, and not even think about their interest rate and not even think about what they're paying for the car, because they're shopping their monthly payments and what they can afford on a monthly basis. And if you do that, you can mess yourself up greatly, because you can end up paying way more for the car than it's worth, and you can pay at a ridiculous interest rate. And I don't want to see you do that. And when you're looking to buy a used car, there's something else that comes into play, and that's the condition of the vehicle. Now, we don't have to worry about that on the new car side, because obviously all these vehicles are new. But on the used car side, all these cars, they've been driven. They've been maintained a certain way. They might have some problems wrong with them. So my biggest tip for you as a car buyer going to a used car dealer a lot, or even if you're just buying a used car from anyone in general, I don't care if you're buying it from a friend you've known your whole life. I don't care if you're buying this car from your mama. What I want you to do is find you a trusted mechanic first before you even start looking for a used vehicle. And when you find that one used vehicle, you find the right price for that used vehicle, then you have to go get that car checked out by your trusted mechanic. Because with these used cars, you can buy a paperweight really quickly. You can buy something that you're going to put a lot of money into. I don't want you to get into that situation. So make sure before you buy anything, any used vehicle, you get it checked out by your mechanic. You have them check it like they were going to buy it themselves, like they were going to buy it for a member of their family. You might have to search a little bit to find a good mechanic, and you might have to pay them a little money to do this, but it's well worth it, because you'll be safer at the end of this transaction, and you'll know exactly what you're paying for, what you're getting into, and that's the biggest thing that you want to do when you're buying a used vehicle. Check 1 2 1 2. Check. Stuffy. Yeah. Sound mommy. Car. There's something else that actually what your out the door price is, whatever. No.